look at it. I didn't pay over one time. So you can do this for free. Your first time in, that's where you start. And then from there, the sky's the limit, what you do with the business. And so with Ashley, I just have connected with her, and I appreciate you coming on here, Ashley. But I would like for you to tell us when you started and how you got started.
Absolutely. So I have been thriving now for over 4 years. And I mean, we could like stop the video right there because that's a big deal in itself. That I've stuck with anything for 4 years. The only other thing that I was this committed to was my Dr. Pepper. That's the only other long relationship I
Me and my
have.
Diet Coke. I'm the
That's
same
right.
way.
That's right. I
married to
mean,
my Diet Coke.
next week is our wedding anniversary. We've been married almost 6 years. And I mean, I was in my wedding dress. We got married in a glass chapel, and I was there with my Dr. Pepper. I had this whole little photo shoot with my Dr. Pepper because I mean, that's what I was known for. I bought a house before we got married. And so I lived by myself. I already worked from home, but it was kind of a joke. Like people would tag me in like Dr. Pepper posts or Dr. Pepper ads. I mean, that's literally, I never drink water. That's what I lived off of was basically Dr. Peppers. And so speaking of my wedding, someone added me as a friend on Facebook on my wedding day. So November 6th of 2014, I had a friend request. And again, we got married in a glass chapel in Garvin Woodland Gardens in Hot Springs, Arkansas. So it's kind of we got married on a Thursday. That was kind of unique, like no one gets married on a Thursday, but I'm super practical. And it was literally $2,000 cheaper to get married on a Thursday versus Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. So I'm like, we're getting married on a Thursday. Yeah. The pictures, it doesn't matter, right? It doesn't even matter. So, the other thing is I didn't want a bunch of people at my wedding because let's be honest, weddings, especially in a church circle, I was a preacher's daughter. Like we knew a bunch of people, but it's one of those things like, a bunch of people, but you just have like your close people. And I didn't want a bunch of people at my wedding, just more of being there just for the event of it versus they're that close to me. So I only wanted the people that were really close to me. So another reason to get married on a Thursday. So anyway, any of you, like engaged couples out there, just a little FYI, saves you tons of money. But so we got married on a Thursday. So I got a lot of friend requests during that time because honestly, people are nosy and they wanted to see my wedding pictures. Okay. Justin is a bacterial meningitis survivor. So he's an amputee in a wheelchair. So that was kind of unique, with our, different poses and things that we had to do because he was in a wheelchair. So again, we got a lot of friend requests during that time. But I did not know this person. We had a lot of the same, church circles. So I was pretty sure she wasn't a serial killer. But I didn't really know. So
doesn't
anyway,
look like one either.
Yeah, I was like, she doesn't really look like a serial killer, so I think we're safe. But she was just posting about, Thrive, and she had these little patches and stickers, and like she would have a shake sometimes, and then I watched as she earned a vehicle, she hit the auto bonus, and then she was just super successful in this business. And I, again, I already worked from home. I was very business minded, even at a young age. And so it was honestly the business that intrigued me with her. I was happy it was working for her. That was great. But always in the back of my mind, I was like, like that business is super intriguing to me. Yeah. But we rocked on for another 11 months. She never messaged me. She never, what we call cold messaging. She never just messaged me, hounded me to be a thriver or to slap a patch on. Like she didn't. But literally what she did, though, is she lived the Thrive life. And that's what pulled me in. And so 11 months in, I actually purchased a sample. I didn't buy a month because I'm like, I'm not that committed. I'm not ready to drink that much of the Kool-Aid. Just give me 7 days. Okay. So again, but guys, keep in mind, I've watched her for almost a year, sharing different stories, sharing her story. And I really felt like I should have felt something in 7 days. So I purchased a sample. I'm like, oh, this is perfect. Like, this is long enough. Like, I should be superwoman in 7 days because this stuff is supposed to be like, I don't know, like amazing. Right. So I purchased this sample. I did not get it for free. I bought it. And I took it correctly. I actually, was on what we call full doses, 2 capsules a shake and slap that patch on. And I didn't feel anything in 7 days, nothing. So for me, that sample delayed me ordering another 6 months. Because anytime I would watch Brittany or see her post, I would always be kind of disappointed. You're like, man, I really wanted that to work for me. And it didn't. So 6 months later, what changed for me is I had Chloe. So Chloe was then 6 months old. I'm a new mom. So any new mamas out there, like, can we just all agree that when you get kids, like, there's no new normal again. You just find like a new chaos. Yeah. And you just kind of learn to just juggle and float and pick your battles. That's it. And that's where I was, so I had a new baby. I was a piano teacher. I still had my insurance business. And frankly, my long lasting relationship of Dr. Pepper, like, was just not cutting it anymore. Yeah. Like, I needed something else. And the other thing that I had struggled with, my entire life, was I had severe digestive issues. And I'll get more into that in a second. So for me, it was energy and, the digestive issues. If I lost a few pounds, great. But I was not doing it to lose baby weight. I was doing it because I didn't feel good. So, she told me about a special that was going on. And I finally kind of came to terms with, Ashley, maybe 7 days wasn't long enough. Maybe that was a little bit unrealistic, you've been, how long have you had that Dr. Pepper? Or how long have you had bad eating habits? Or, and that's the thing sometimes with our bodies, that was just as silly as getting a gym membership and then demanding a refund in 7 days because I didn't have a 6-pack or I didn't lose 30 pounds in 7 days. Now I'm like, Ashley, that was kind of silly of me, but that's what we do. And I've had people do that to me since then, is if we do not just have this crazy earth-shattering experience, we think something doesn't work for us. So when I purchased another a full month, so not just 7 days, a full month. And I wish I could tell you, oh my goodness, week 2 was amazing, or it was week 3 or day 21. But guys, it wasn't. That full first month, I didn't feel anything again. I didn't feel just that energy, that amazing, just whatever, all the things that Thrivers talk about. I went 4 weeks and did not feel, if anything, the only thing that I felt is I was a little crankier. Hello, detox, right? Okay. I was a little crankier. I was more just like on edge, that's the only way I can describe it. And I was hungrier. I thought I was going to eat my arm off. That's the only things that I felt. I didn't feel energy. I didn't feel mental clarity. I wasn't cleaning, we talking about someone cleaning their grout and their tile. Like, I was definitely not doing that. Okay. But so in that second month, I almost didn't reorder because I'm like, man, why did I should have known. I knew that sample. I knew from the sample it wasn't going to work. Why did I buy a month supply? Right. But then Brittany sent me a sheet of, then it was Black Label. We now have White Label and breast cancer awareness patches on these. But she sent me a sheet of these. These have B12 in them. So, a lot of people go to the doctor, get a B12 shot. Well, this is absorbing B12 actually through your skin. It has, I think it's 5 HTP or 5 THP. I always get those letters mixed up. But anyway, there's a lot, CoQ10, a lot of just different things. And for me, like, this is the patch that I needed. It's actually called Dermafusion Technology, but I call it a patch. Anyway, so that was the turning point for me. Like, I literally don't know if I would be thriving if I did not get this particular patch. Now, we always start people on what I call the baby patches. They're just the small, tiny ones. I always start everyone on that one. But if you are, maybe you've purchased a month, through Phyllis or through someone else, and, you're like, I'm not really sure I feel it, definitely reach out to her and let's look at some of our other options. Because again, I'm living proof that sometimes you have to find your patch. So into my second month, I finally felt it was more of that mental clarity that I noticed with the white label patches. I started noticing that mental clarity, that focus. It still wasn't like this burst of energy or all of a sudden I turned into the Energizer Bunny. It wasn't anything like that for me. It was more just gradual changes that started with, hey, like, and where am I? Again, my mom's at, right? You know what mom bee feels like, the mom brain. Like, that is more what I started noticing, is I feel more mental clarity. I was dealing with a 6-month-old, all the things that happen with that. And so in that second month, that's when I kind of started noticing the changes in my gut and my digestive issues were getting fixed. And so, so I was kind of a closet thriver for 2 months. I didn't tell anyone because I'm a very brutally honest person. Okay. And if I think something is baloney, I'm going to tell you it's baloney. I'm sure not going to try to sell you something that I think is baloney. Okay.
I'm the same way. That's why I do it, because I believe.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would not.
So I was a closet thriver customer for 2 months before I ever flipped to promoter. And the only reason I flipped is because it's free to be a part of. This business is free to do. I literally had to hit a button. So in that second month, I was like, okay, I've gotten good discounts from my first 2 orders. And in all reality, guys, Thrive comes out to $5 a day. Okay, so even full price, we're not talking thousands of dollars. Most people are spending more than $5 a day in coffee and energy drinks and some other form. They're just not taking the time to add it all together to realize you're already spending well over $150 for energy already, right? So first of all, let's deal with that. But second of all, even customers can thrive for free with 2 referrals. And so that is where the business started for me, not because I wanted to do the business. I didn't even tell my husband I flipped to promoter. I don't recommend doing that, but that's what I did. I flipped to promoter because it was free to be a part of, and I can thrive for free as a customer with two referrals, or I could flip to promoter with 2 referrals and still thrive for free, except now I can earn commission. That's all I had to hear. I didn't know about the bonuses we can earn in our first 14 days. I didn't know about auto bonus. I didn't know about anything. It was purely that simple of a decision for me. So I flipped to promoter. I had 2 people ordering, boom, thriving for free the next month. I had 2 more people order. So that helped me hit my first bonus. I hit the second bonus. I hit a 4K, which was $4,000 in sales. Again, keep in mind, guys, I still haven't told my husband I'm a promoter. So back then we were doing 3-way calls. So that would mean if I had someone interested, I would put them on a 3-way call with my friend Brittany. And Brittany would share her story because, I don't know, I just know it's simple. I just know my brain fog isn't as bad and my digestive issues are being helped. But I don't know anything about Thrive. That's all I know about it. So I would get them on the phone with my friend Brittany for her to share her story because she had been thriving for over 2 years at this point. And I just done that for several days. So I'm literally sitting in the bathroom with the fan going. So Justin hopefully isn't hearing my conversation. And we are dealing some Thrive from the toilet. And that's what we're doing. We got the fan going and we're kind of whispering. I'm muted out, letting Brittany share her story. And 38 days later is when I hit auto bonus. That's when I earned my first Cadillac. And so then I had to tell my husband, by the way, I'm a promoter. We just hit 12K.
You was getting your Cadillac?
It was right around, I mean, because it was only 38 days. So I'd been promoting a good 2 weeks before he knew. So he knew, obviously, when we got the car. I'm like, by the way, like, we're getting a car. But I say all that also to say my husband did not start with me. Okay, so I had already been a closet thriver for 2 months. He was not thriving with me. I'd already flipped to promoter. Even when he found out, even with me earning a Cadillac, even all these things, he was still not thriving with me. Okay, we had a few Thrive fights, discussions. He says we didn't fight. We had heated discussions. But yeah, you know. But I was just like, Justin, I just really feel like, he's an amputee in a wheelchair. You know, he was struggling with the transfer from his wheelchair to the car. You know, and I remember all of them. Like, I really just think this would help you. So I had to get his capsules out in the morning. I had to make a shake. Basically, I had to slap the patch on him, you know, all the things. And I will never forget, he went down 5 belt holes on his belt in his first 5 weeks. I mean, his weight loss was just amazing. And within his first year, he lost over 100 pounds from the Thrive experience.
Oh, my goodness.
Yes. So now, you know, I mean, when they interviewed me, when the company interviewed me, one of our lifestyle getaways, I mean, that's literally what it brought me to tears, because I look back and think, man, what if I would have given up on month 1? What if I had never ordered that month because I thought it didn't work for me because of my sample, right? What if I had never flipped to promoter? What if I had quit thriving? Where would he be physically? Because losing 100 pounds is amazing for anyone, but when you're someone in a wheelchair, all that upper body, strain of lifting yourself, to and from vehicles or in and out of, we lived in an RV at the time, they didn't have a wheelchair lift. So he was crawling up the steps, pulling in his wheelchair, getting in his wheelchair, all of that. So, I mean, again, that's been over 4 years ago, and I'm just as passionate now, even as I was 4 years ago, because I know my story. I know what it's done for myself. I know obviously what it's done for my husband. But even 4 years later, we still get people like Phyllis, who, is 64 years young and experiencing Thrive for the first time. And I love what I get to do. I said in my video, I didn't think the answer to some of our prayers would come in capsule shakes and DFTs. But I'm so thankful that I kept an open mind. I kept an open mind, but then also that I gave myself the 8 weeks, because you deserve to feel how we feel. Your family deserves for you to feel how we feel. And so give this time and just give it the 8 weeks.
Yeah, that's the problem, is a lot of people don't understand that's what 8 weeks means. Give it the 8 weeks, because we don't all thrive at the same speed. Me,
Absolutely.
First day thriver. I was sold. That was it. First day thriver. And a few have been that way, but a few people have to, maybe it's the detox they need, they could
Absolutely.
Be so,
absolutely. Any other questions? Anything else you want me to go over?
I think, could you tell a little bit about the detox, what it does to the body?
Absolutely.
So understand.
Yeah. So again, I have a lot of digestive issues. Okay. So I talk a lot about gut health. And so that is, you can do your own research, look up gut health, look up leaky gut, look up, just all the different things that are directly correlated to your gut and digestive function. And so one thing with our 3 steps, again, capsule shakes and our DFTs, we have a gut health support within those 3 steps. Now, of course, we have other things like balance or restore that also helps in digestion, but we have great digestive support, just again, incorporated in the 3 steps. So we have prebiotics and probiotics and digestive enzymes. Okay, so research Candida yeast. That is the yeast that makes you crave the breads, the sugars, the chocolates. It gives you brain fog. It's the same yeast that if women, get yeast infections after being on an antibiotic, it's that same thing. It's the Candida yeast. Now, the probiotics, what it does is that's the good bacteria that kills that Candida yeast. Okay, but also research Candida die-off. Okay, you will feel like you have the flu or worse. Like you feel achy, you feel really lethargic, you feel tired. And I know that's frustrating because, again, why do we start Thrive? Most people start Thrive because they're already tired, they're already lethargic, they already feel bad. And so when they start feeling that, what we kind of call the Thrive flu, it kind of throws them off and they don't understand. And that's where, again, reach out to whoever you've ordered, reach out to Phyllis. I'll be happy to talk to you about it. But you've got to give this time, because one of our shakes, one packet or scoop, whichever way you use it, that's equivalent to eating 1,600 yogurts. That's how much probiotic is in one of our shakes. And you're drinking at least one a day. Okay. So when you when you first get started, absolutely. Some people feel amazing from day one. And I don't know. There's really no rhyme or reason to why some people feel amazing from day one. And then some people kind of feel worse before they feel better. Again, I don't know why, but that is sometimes, a lot of times, why I personally like to start people with half doses, which would be 1 capsule, a half of a shake, and then a patch, because a lot of times it'll kind of ease. If you detox, it won't be as hard. It won't be as fierce. It won't be as miserable. And so some things that'll just help is, again, make sure you're drinking plenty of water. I mean, minimum half your body weight, but even more, because you've got to flush those toxins out. A good hot Epsom salt bath will kind of help in that process. And then any type of even mild exercise that'll get you sweating will help. Those are kind of the 3 main things that I would say is water, Epsom salt bath, some form of exercise, and just understand that it will not last forever. And if you can just get past that, you will look back, and like I am now 4 years later, and so thankful that you endured a little bit of discomfort, a little bit of pain, for the positive change, that it'll bring after that. But
I got one more question.
Okay.
Is there very many people thriving that have had babies, like 2-month-olds or women that breastfeed? That seems to be a question I've been getting. Can they thrive even though they're breastfeeding?
So I can't answer that openly. Okay. But this is what I will say. Okay. So based on what, my research, based on what I know about Thrive, I truly and purely believe this is the best nutrition I can give myself. Okay. When you look at synthetics and fillers and absorption rates and all of these different things. But here's the thing, people like to, research or second guess nutrition. But you know what I didn't ask my doctor, or what I didn't ask while I was pregnant, was, hey, is it a problem that I'm consuming this much Dr. Pepper? I mean, is that an issue? I don't really know. You know what I'm saying? So that's just all I will say about that, is a lot of times we will second guess things that are very, you know, the best of your knowledge is helpful for you, but you're not even asking about McDonald's or Dr. Pepper or some of these other things that we're doing because we know they're bad.
Yeah.
And so that you just have to do your own research and do what you feel is right for you. Consult your doctor. You know, I always tell people, consult your doctor. If you have, that's what I did. I consulted my doctor, you know, but I didn't consult him about my Dr. Pepper. So if you're going to consult him about everything, and honestly be open and be consistent with, you know, as much as you're scrutinizing nutrition or Thrive or another something, right? As hard as you're researching and scrutinizing that, are you that hard on literally everything else you put in your body and on your body? I mean, lotions, shampoos, makeup, all that, that's a whole nother topic. Yeah. But, you know, this is what has opened my eyes to realize, hey, is if I believe this patch works, which I do because I felt it, then I also have to believe our skin is the biggest organ in our body. Yes. So what else am I putting on my skin? Because it's going into my bloodstream. Mm-hmm. So the lotions that I use, the shampoo that I use, I mean, all of that, you've got to think about that. So anyway, long answer to that question is you've got to do your own research and do what's right for you personally. Consult your doctor. But again, look at everything you're doing, everything you're putting in your body. And what would he say about that?
And it will give you energy to take care of your baby.
There you go.
That's for sure. You will get that. If you don't get anything else, you'll get the energy of it.
Absolutely.
I appreciate you so much.
Yes. Thanks for having me and asking me some questions. And we'll talk to you guys later.
Bye-bye.